What is an annuities table? Well, firstly, the definition of annuity is a recurring payment. Okay, annuity equals recurring payment. And that's what people often forget. Each period, you're getting an extra dollar being inserted into the account. So by the 5th period here, I have in total $5. And that's the critical thing. And you can see that the table is telling me by the 5th year, all of the amounts I'm getting across that row, they're $5 and something. They're $5 and a bit of interest. But how much interest is complicated because this is the total amount of interest incurred from all of the dollars that have been sitting there from different time periods, compounding for different times. So the first payment, the first dollar actually sits in there for 4 whole years. The second one sits for 3, 2, 1, and then the other one is, the final one is inserted at the end of the period, so it actually doesn't accumulate any interest. So these interest amounts here, this like 10-cent amount, that is the total interest coming from all 4 of those dollars that have been sitting there for the time period. So if you want to see what that looks like in a bit more detail, let's take the case where I'm investing for 5 years and that is going to be at a 5% interest rate. Let's have a look at how each of these dollars grows. So the first dollar gets input at the end of the year. So by the end of the first year, I only have $1. By the end of the second year, that thing's grown to $1.05, and I've put in an extra dollar. So my total amount at the end of year 2, right, is the dollar I put in at the end of the year 2, plus what the first dollar I put in at the end of year 1, what that grew to. So my total amount by year 2 is $2.05, which you can see is right there. Now, what happens in year 3? Well, my first dollar gets to sit in there for a whole nother year and it becomes $1.103. And my second dollar gets to sit in there for a full year, so it accumulates 1 year's worth of interest. And my third dollar gets in there at the end of the year, so it doesn't get any interest at all. So what do we get by the end of the third year? We get this total. What is that total? Well, it's actually $3.1525 rounded up, so 3, which you can see is the sum, and that's exactly what is in the table there again. So we can keep on doing this. So if we let all these dollars sit for the different time periods, we get something that's a bit over $5 in the end. And that is what an annuity is. It's a recurring payment where each of the payments sits in there for a different amount of time and therefore compounds for a different amount of time.